Wednesday night, Word and Worship, 7 p.m. Prayer Thursday night at 7 p.m. Sunday School, 9:30 a.m. Sunday Morning Worship, 11 o'clock a.m. And our Sunday Night Live service at 7 p.m.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
Welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. My second guest for today is from Grace Mission Training Center. Thank you all so much for joining us. Mr. McKinney, we might get you in the frame here. Oh. All right, so we have Mr. Jason. So tell us, and Mr. McKinney, tell us, Mr. Jason, are you a resident or a staff member or?
Just a resident.
A resident. All right. So I love to hear different people's stories, and if you can share as much as you like, as little as you like. Let me turn your mic on. Okay. There we go. So tell us a little bit more about yourself, and then how you came to the center, and then we'll go into a little more detail about what the center does.
Okay. I started the program about 4 months ago. Honestly, I was addicted to pain meds for a while.
Okay.
And quite a while, actually. And most of my adult life so far has been in different types of addiction, even though I've been in and out of church and stuff. I'm married currently. I have 2 daughters, one from a previous wife and a daughter with my current wife. And even though, I had a full-time job holding it down and everything, I still got lost in addiction, most of my adult life, and finally just got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And my wife and my sister contacted my ex-sister-in-law, and she had already been through the program before.
Okay.
And recommended it, and they got in contact with Grace Mission, and
okay, the
here I am.
rest is history. So tell us, for those that think, how do you get addicted to pain pills? Like, I know how it's possible, but there's some people who still have this mindset of how do you get addicted. They kind of have this. I don't know.
Honestly, it was. I guess the term would be a slow fade into addiction.
Okay.
Really. It was progressive. At first, I was having back problems. Went to the doctor, and they told me that my blood pressure was sky high, and it was probably because of the pain in my back,
Wow.
So they set me up for 2 MRIs. I had 2 MRIs done on my T-spine and L-spine, and they said I had degenerative disc disease in both places. And they said it was about the equivalent of a 60 or 70-year-old's back in those discs. So they at first referred me to either rehabilitation or pain management, but they told me that rehabilitation, since it was a degenerative disease, that it wouldn't help. And so they put me on pain medicine. Started taking the pain medicine, and it worked for a while. But then the amount they were prescribing me eventually wasn't enough. And so I started turning to getting it in places on the streets that I shouldn't have. And next thing you know, I was taking way more than I should have been and didn't even realize it. And then I was searching for not just the getting rid of the pain, but I was also searching for not waking up each morning, sick, because it'll make you feel like you have no energy at all, like you can't even function without it.
Wow.
And yeah.
And what effect did it have on, I know you said it was a slow progression. And what effect did it start having on your family, like your relationship with your wife, your relationship with your children? And then, over time, as it got worse on you, again, tell us what impact did it have?
Oh, man. Eventually, well, to start off with, it didn't seem like it was that big of a deal.
Okay.
you feel like you're in control of the pain medicine, you know, and then it starts controlling you. And then the next thing you know, my relationship with my wife and kids became more and more distant. You start lying to people that you thought you'd never lie to, stealing from people you never thought you'd steal from.
Oh, wow.
And then eventually, and it's all to chase after not just the pain medicine, but not being sick eventually, because it'll make you so sick. I'm talking about the worst flu-like symptoms you've ever experienced.
When you're trying not to take them?
Trying not to take it, trying to come off of them. And eventually I started taking some stuff that they give you to try to get off of the pain medicine, and became addicted to that. And the symptoms from that's what I came into the mission actually on, or coming off of. Within about a week, I was so sick I couldn't hardly eat, couldn't hardly drink anything, and it actually put me in the hospital for a couple of days. They had to put IVs in me and give me fluids and everything because I was so dehydrated, and I literally thought I was dying. That's what it felt like.
So what message would you give the people that feel it won't happen to me, I can rise above it, you know, because it doesn't take but one or two, depending on your tolerance level, you know, to get you addicted, or just say one prescription, you know, once you start taking it, you like the feeling, as you said, and then you keep chasing it. So for those that feel like, oh, it can't happen to me, you know, what would you say to them? I
believe it can happen to anybody. Honestly, I really thought that I would be able to. It changes your mindset, because how to explain that? It's you start thinking that, oh, I'm managing the pain medicine. It's not managing me. That's how you start out, and then eventually it changes your whole psyche about it. It's very interesting. It's very hard to explain, really. I think anybody that is taking pain medicine eventually can become addicted to it very easily, just because it does change up your physical makeup of your body, you know, and how you absolutely have to have it. You can't go without it. And eventually it gets into a point where not only are you trying to take it for just your pain, but you're also trying to take it not to be sick on top of that. And it compounds. Yeah. Do you feel that as you were going through this cycle, before you got to Grace Mission, did people ever, well, let me ask this, did people ever say you don't look like you're addicted? Like there's supposed to be a look, you know, like some people that look that are addicted are supposed to be all run down, you know. Society has painted this picture of what an addict looks like, you know. Right. So did people ever tell you don't look like it, or they did either one, they didn't recognize the signs of what you were going through, or you were good at hiding it? Probably both, especially in the beginning. That's the thing. It's just it's a slow progression. I think that's why it's become such an epidemic. I mean, you hear it, you know, even before I started taking the pain medicine, you would hear it on the radio, people talking about it and stuff, and I was one of the ones that thought, oh, this can't happen to me, you know, and it did. I never thought that I would be at this point. I honestly never thought that from the beginning. I thought I was in school. I was actually taking online classes, and for 2 years, up until I laid off a semester before coming into the mission, I was managing work and managing school and everything. So it didn't really it seemed like I had everything going, you know, and I was in control of everything, but it progresses to a point because your body requires more and more of it to kill the pain, and then on top of it, kill the sickness eventually. So you were basically a higher functioning addict. Yes, ma'am. As, you know, some might call it. All right, so let's fast forward. You've made your way to the Grace Mission Bible Training Center, and so tell us about, you know, from then to now,
what the whole process was like. Did you ever, I don't want to say buck again, that's something I can come up with, but did you ever kind of push back against whatever the counselors and other staff was trying to give you, like how they were trying to help you through your treatment, or did you ever resist? That's the word. Did you resist anything?
I think yes. I think everybody that comes into the program resists a little bit, because we all like to think that we're in control of our own lives, when honestly God's in control of everything, and we don't even realize it. A lot of people don't realize it, I guess. And honestly, coming into the program, I was literally so sick coming off of the stuff they give you to come off of the pain medicine that I couldn't function for the first few days hardly at all. Couldn't stay awake, and that was even after being in the hospital and everything. The thing is, though, they tell you, am I allowed to say what it was? Okay. It was Subutex, Suboxone. It's stuff that they typically give you to come off of, like hydrocodone or those kinds of things. And the medicine, they said, I looked it up online before even thinking about coming to the program, and because I was feeling so horrible, and I couldn't even go to work. Couldn't hardly get off the couch, for that matter. I was hot and cold, couldn't ever get comfortable, could not sleep at all, and then eventually couldn't eat, and or drink, and that's what put me in the hospital. But they online, looking it up, they said it could take several months before the symptoms would be over with. The thing about coming into the mission, though, and I've heard numerous testimonies of people coming into the mission, whether it be alcoholism or whatever, and because of the presence of the Lord that's in that place, and the people that work there and everything, the belief that they have in the Lord, and just being filled with the Holy Spirit. I literally had the worst symptoms were only lasted about a week after being there, and then they were through with. When it could, doctors would tell you it's typically going to take a few months of those types of symptoms. And just in prayer, constant praise of the Lord, got me through it so much quicker. And there's been numerous testimonies since I've been there of people that have had the same thing. Sometimes not even a day or two of symptoms, and then the Lord just takes them away.
Wow. And since you've been in the program and have you resumed contact and visitation with your wife? Are you allowed?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So since you've been through the program and in essence reconnected with your wife and family, tell us what some of the conversations are like, and what it's like now on the other side of addiction.
Oh man. 180.
Okay.
Honestly, it's amazing. That's hard to describe.
Okay.
It brings me tears of joy, honestly. The restoration that's going on in my family, I know they're set at ease because they know I'm in a good place. They know I'm safe, because your family worries about you. Okay. You might not realize it half the time, but at least I didn't. A lot of people probably take it for granted like I did. They worry about you when they realize that there's an issue, but when you're in the program, they're able to relax. They know you're in a safe place, that you're taken care of. And the restoration that's happened with my wife and my children, they look at me like I'm a totally different person.
That's amazing. How old are your babies?
My oldest daughter's 10,
okay.
Annabelle, and my youngest daughter, Mackenzie, is 16 months now.
Oh, goodness. So Mackenzie won't remember, she won't have much recollection of what's happening now with the 10-year-old. Have you had conversations with her on her level as to why daddy's not home and daddy's trying to get better? Or do you try to incorporate her as much as possible to her level of understanding of why you're not home?
We have basically, and really Grace Mission is not a place for addiction per se.
Okay.
It's a Bible training center. So you go in there thinking, oh, I'm just getting off of, whatever I'm addicted to. But that's not what it's about. It's about seeking the Lord, putting your eyes on the Lord, and that takes it off of all the things that we typically deal with in our lives. And it helps you to grow in faith. So you don't focus on, like most of the programs that are out there, you don't focus on, oh, I'm addicted to this and that's what I need to think about all the time. You put your focus on God, which takes it off of all that other stuff that you don't need to be focusing on to begin with.
That's amazing.
I hope that answered your question.
Yeah. Now, also, since you've been in the program, have you been writing, goals and just things you want to accomplish moving forward once you go home? When will you get to go home?
My plan is to graduate the 8-month program. My wife's already, looking for that day when I come home and everything. And she's totally excited about it, which makes me, even more excited about it. Back to talking about my daughter real quick, kind of correlate the two there. When I get out, her mother has already talked to her that, that I'm in a Bible training center, that when I do get out, she'll be going to church with me and those kinds of things. So I guess that kind of is where we're headed,
Okay.
I wasn't in church before coming into the mission. I've had history going to church and a closer relationship with God and everything, but that's another thing. I took that completely away when I was in my addiction. I didn't even think about God. It completely takes that viewpoint away.
Because you were entangled with a demon of sorts, an addiction demon, and I have a sister who works in the field, and she talks about how addiction is forever. Well, in essence, you are quote unquote an addict. Like, they have different terminology for it, and I'm sorry, Ms. McKinney can help me out here, but it's going to be an everyday battle, or to not fall backwards, to not allow yourself to be tempted to, and to stay out of situations that could potentially get you back in trouble. Not that you want to, kick anybody to the curb, dismiss your family, friends, whoever, but for the sake of you and your family and what you've already built, I know you will have to make some adjustments in your life.
Yes, ma'am.
So those different people that you came in contact with during that time before you came to Grace, have you had conversations with them, wrote them letters, or just, made up in your mind, okay, I need to alter my behavior, like who I hang around and things of that nature?
Oh, you have to change that completely.
Okay.
If you go back to the previous people you were hanging around, you're gonna pretty much easily fall right back into it.
Okay.
That's one of the things that they focus on as well. The main point is, though, if you're going to be focused on God, more or less, I would say that you probably weren't around people that were focused on God to begin with, if you were in that. Now, you might think that some people are, but if they're trying to, feed you medicine or, sell it to you or whatever, they're not really good friends to hang around.
Unfortunately not. No.
And, as far as addiction, I don't want to backtrack too much, but your body builds up a tolerance too. I didn't think of that word at first, but it came to me just now. Your body builds up a tolerance and a dependence for it.
Okay.
And so, call it addiction or whatever you want to call it, you have to have it. You can't go without it. I can't stress that enough. So if anybody out there that has been taking pain medicine for just a little while and thinks that it's just going to be that way for the rest of their lives, that's a lie.
Yeah. Now, also moving forward, we're going to get ready for a break, and I'm sorry, Mr. McKinney. We'll bring you in. I'm sorry for the next segment. But going forward, every time you go to the doctor now, or you have an injury, are you going to let them, well, for your safety, your sake, will you let them know up front, look, please don't prescribe me this, that, or whatever? Like, are you going to be mindful of taking a regular Tylenol versus Tylenol PM? You know, things of that nature. Like, you have to now be very mindful of every aspect of your life.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I would definitely tell them about it, you know, and tell them that I don't want to be prescribed any kind of narcotic medication at all.
All right.
Yeah.
We're going to get ready to take a quick break. And I'm sorry, we've been just talking. And thank you so much, Mr. Jason, for being so candid and sharing. There may be other people out there dealing with this, and they just don't know how to get help or where to turn, or just, you know, they may be confused and lost. So hopefully someone's listening and taking something away from this conversation. We're going to put a pause right quick, take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these announcements.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. So LendEDU.com, a student loan consolidation and refinancing site, asked an interesting question. Why wouldn't Amazon get into student loans? It could happen. LendEDU surveyed 1,000 current four-year college students with student loan debt to see how open they would be to using a hypothetical Amazon student loan product. A whopping 67% said yes, with about only 11% saying no and 22% saying they weren't sure. About 40% of respondents said they would have more trust in Amazon handling their student loans than the U.S. Department of Education. Your focus should be taking on as little student debt as possible, regardless of the provider, and having a clear plan for how you will pay it back as quickly as possible. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters at AURN.com.
Money Matters is made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization focused on joy in our sisterhood, power in our voice, and service in our hearts. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
Money Matters is brought to you by the Gears Foundation, a nonprofit organization providing students with assistance in their academic and career pursuits. Gears Foundation on Facebook, Gears_Inc. on Instagram, and the Gears Foundation at gmail.com.
Money Matters is brought to you by Bancorp South, offering checking, savings, loans, credit cards, and wealth management. 5 locations in Jonesboro to serve you. www.bancorpsouth.com or 870-972-9800.
Help keep KLEK on the air. We are seeking 100 donors to give at least $20 per month, but we are happy with any gift, large or small. Come by our studio at 1411 Franklin Street in Jonesboro. Call us at 870-277-1080 or visit our website, klekfm.org, or you can use Cash App, $KLEKFM, or text KLEK1. Send it to 44321.
KLEK thanks CJ Pepper and the staff of Life Strategies Counseling Incorporated for helping people through hard times in life such as depression, family issues, stress, abuse, and more. They offer counseling and therapy for all ages, individuals, families, and groups. They are located at 1217 Stone Street. Phone number 1-866-972-1268 or online at lscihelp.com.
Anointed Prolude, 1216 East Johnson Avenue, serves the Jonesboro community inspired by Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. They offer brake service, oil changes, tire plugs, basic tune-ups, wiper blade changes, bulb changes, and coolant system flushes. Open Monday, Thursday, and Friday 8 to 5, Tuesday and Wednesday 8 to 4, and Saturday 8 to 2. More information 870-520-5039.
The McDaniel Law Firm, 400 South Main Street in Jonesboro, is a firm believer in justice and equality for the minority community. The McDaniel Law Firm has fought for our rights for over 44 years. The McDaniel Law Firm offers legal help for wrongful death as well as trucking and automobile accidents. Bobby and Brett McDaniel are available for a free consultation at 870-336-4747 or at www.mcdaniellawyers.com.
The Black Professionals Network of Jonesboro was incorporated January 2013 with the mission of creating networking opportunities and to create community presence in the Jonesboro area. BPN is a diverse group of professionals established to make Jonesboro an ideal place for people of color and operates under the 4 pillars of Live, Learn, Lead, and Link. BPN meets the third Thursday of every month. More info, Black Professionals Network on Facebook and bpnjonesboro.org.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
Back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I have some individuals here from the Grace Mission Bible Training Center, and this is out of we forgot to mention where you're located. We're going to get into that. You're in Paragould, Arkansas. And I want to say thank you so much to Mr. Jason for coming and sharing your testimony, and hopefully other people that are listening either know someone that's going through an addiction of any kind and they're trying to find a way to get them help, or they may be suffering, they may be dealing with addiction themselves, and they may think they have it all under control, but it's anyway you don't. It controls you. And so hopefully they are inspired to get the help they need, because eventually your addiction will take you down. You may think you're high functioning now, and as you said, you got to a point where things just changed in your life. And so if you love yourself, you love your family, if you have children, please consider getting help. Opioids are becoming, it's not becoming, I think it's been around for a long time. It's becoming more mainstream. It's becoming, the society is becoming more aware of the opioid epidemic, but I think it's been around probably a long
Yes, ma'am.
long time. All right, I want to bring Mr. McKinney in. You're one of the counselors, staff members. Yes. So tell us a little bit more about what you do, and then tell us about Grace Mission Bible Training Center for those who may not know, even though you've been here before.
Yes. I've been at Grace for about 8 years. All staff have been through the program and sound full-time volunteers, which I'm grateful that it is a non-paid position. Not that there's anything wrong with people being paid for those, but the people, they're there because they want to help. And then my part is I'm sort of the PR-ish person and the resource person to find stuff. It's a simple program. It's just difficult. Because the only question we ask if you're willing to see Jesus Christ as answer to your problems, and so you just have to be willing.
Okay.
And what I'm going to guess so many people don't realize, and including myself before, that I remember hearing the phrase slavery to sin. Well, I thought that was just some sort of logo, or I'm not love, but just some sort of saying, and I did not realize that's just the law. That's just the way it is. And of course, sin is not just quote unquote dirty stuff. Sin is any rebellion against God, doing it my way instead of His way. And then I think I'm in charge because I think I'm so smart, and I'm choosing these things. Well, then you get into slavery and you don't even know you're in slavery. You think you're choosing because you like it, and you have to do it. You don't even know you're in slavery until your world starts falling apart. For myself, if I want to feel bad about something, it was when I very first started because I knew better. And after you become in slavery, you have to do what it tells you to do. There's really no point in feeling bad about yourself because you got to do it just like dominoes. You hit them and they're going to fall down until you surrender. Probably most people think that whether they're alcoholic, whatever or not, that they just need to go get fixed, come back, and they'll be okay.
No.
And it's people. I know. I mean, I don't know everybody, but at some point, if that will follow the Lord, and I'm not just talking sweet goody talk. I mean, doing it, and a real relationship with Him, not just knowing about Him. And it's real. I'm going to say practical. You just do these things, and then you don't have to worry about falling back into it, because if you just continue to do it, the Lord will bring in front of you things He wants you to work on. And with me, when I get irritated, I know there's something wrong with me. There may be something wrong with somebody else, but there's definitely something wrong with me. And I've got to work on me before I can help somebody else. But it's just a real thing. It's not being goody two-shoes or whatever. It's and of course you fall in love with the Lord, and it's not just knowing about Him or again just quoting scripture and stuff like that just to go through the motions. It's a real relationship, and it requires that to get out of slavery, because you've got no choice. You have to do it. It makes you have to become very selfish and self-focused, because you have to get what it tells you to, and you have no choice. You've got choices in how you do it, but you've got to do it. And there's you don't want to harm people, but you're in such slavery, you will just you'll ignore it or not think about it. But you have to do it until you get freedom from it, and Jesus will do that. He'll do it for you, but you got to be desperate, because it's not like I'll do this and I won't do that. It's just sort of black and white.
Okay. And since you've been a guest on my show, you shared quite a few success stories of people who have gone through the program because they were willing to accept how God can work in their life and how they can be brought out of whatever their addiction is. And sometimes the addiction to substances could be tied up into their mental instability, and all that tied in together can cause a whole nother set of problems. And so, again, if you are a Bible believer, faith believer, and you know what God can and will do in your life, that helps to bring you out of what is that?
Yes,
out of that. I'm sorry.
And there's some people who have mental issues. Got some real stuff. Mm-hmm. But if they're obedient, God He just takes care of them. There's somebody there that had a stroke, aneurysm, lost part of their brain, and has difficulties and stuff, but has got such faith in God. And it's got such faith in God, and you do the little things, not just the big things. You look to Him, and He's not just a reference you check in on from time to time, because you want to learn to walk with Him, and then you don't have to worry about it. If you stumble, He'll pick you back up, but you gotta ask Him to help you, and we just have to get better. We don't, I love that thing about progress, not perfection, because I cannot do perfection.
I know that's right. All right, in our last minute, Mr. Jason, would you like to have any final words of encouragement, or just any words, period, to anyone?
If anybody is struggling with that, there are definitely people that know what they're going through.
Okay.
That was one of the great things about coming to Grace Mission, is that there were numerous people that I could talk to, not just the counselors that are there, but also people that had just started the program or been in the program for just a little while. They knew what I was facing, what I was going through, and I had somebody that I could actually talk to that knew what I was going through. And a lot of times when you're going through something like that, it makes it easier to go through, easier to get through.
Well, we thank you, gentlemen, so much for coming and sharing your story. Thank you so very much, and we hope this won't be your last time.
Thank you for listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.